Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, guys. Give a quick thumbs up if you're able to hear me and see me clearly. Good afternoon, Anna, Love Kush, Ujjwal, everyone. How are you guys doing? Give a quick thumbs up if you're able to hear me and see me clearly. Okay, I can see a couple of thumbs ups here. Great, great. Okay, so now we are going to start the session. So, welcome to this exciting masterclass. And this session is going to be really interesting for all of you guys, whether you are joining from LinkedIn, YouTube, or you are from inside the Alma Mater community. I'm really thrilled to have you here today because today you are going to understand something where you will see that how much thought process it goes in the tech, any feature or any website, any software which you are building, you want to make it live, be it in big companies like Google, Facebook, or any startup. There is a lot of thought process that goes in. And when you want to make something live, it's not just straightforward. You click something and it's live for everyone. There are so many things which you have to keep it in mind, and that is what we are going to talk about today. So it's going to be really interesting. We will talk about GitHub versioning, we will talk about feature flags, we'll talk about whole infrastructure as DevOps. How do you think about it? So my name is Alok Anand, I will be your host. I have 8 plus years of experience in the field of machine learning as well as backend engineering, and over the past few years I had the chance to work closely with thousands of learners stepping into tech roles, many starting fresh, just like some of you here today. You might be thinking what this world of tech is and how kind of you look at the world of tech from the lens of us, taking in my experience. And we will have Varun also joining this session. So Varun is right now working as full stack developer in Hey Coach, and he will also share his insights. He is Alma Better alumni. He will share his insights why he joined this uh, field of software engineering and how is it going right now. He will be joining in just some time. So today's session is going to be special. As I mentioned, it's not just about writing the code or building apps. Okay, it's about understanding how big companies or how complex systems, right, how they manage the changes at massive scale. Just imagine, you might have seen your Google Chrome getting updated, you might have seen your apps getting updated. How does it work, right? How do you update it safely without breaking things? There can be something, you might have seen after some update your app starts crashing or your browser starts crashing. Those are the scenarios, how companies deal with it, how they go back to their previous version. So all those things, how does it happen, right? And this is where your system versioning comes in picture. So it's not just deployment anymore, it's about how developers today are expected to own the full cycle. So in this world of AI will help you write the code, but this release part, this deployment part, managing the deployment, this is where the human intervention is required, and you will understand it today why it is required. So as a developer, you have to own the full cycle, whether it is writing the code, you have to deploy it to the cloud so that it is available for thousands and millions of billions of users, and you monitor the performance as well, how it is right now going, right, whether your feature is liked by people or not. And if something goes wrong, you can smoothly roll back. When I say roll back, it means I go to my previous version, exclude the recent changes from the deployment. It will go back to the last version when it was stable. So in this masterclass, we will break down taking one of the example. Let's say we will talk about how, let's say, Gmail is trying to push dark mode. It's already there. Just I will take that as an example, and it will roll out to not just 10, 100,000 people, but hundreds of millions of people. How they do it without chaos, without the tech which they use, what's the flow over there which they are going to use. All right, so this is what is going to be discussed in today's session, and we are going to go into agenda of role as a software developer. If you are starting it off right now, you must be already knowing this if you are in Alma Better community or you have heard from somewhere, but we will start it from there, that you understand your role clearly And second, technical components of system versioning, as I mentioned. Then role of Alma Better, we will go into Varun's story much deeper. We will understand like how he planned his journey, how he planned for interviews, and what are the things which you guys should keep it in mind while going into this field. And lastly, the floor will be open for Q&A. You can start putting your question in Q&A. In between also, I'll try to take it up, but at the end, we will cover all the question which you guys have. So take this opportunity you have taken out on weekends to get your questions answered, get the clarity which you need to move further. So, before I get into the technical things, I would like to invite Varun, man of the hour. He will be joining on stage. He will be sharing his journey. We'll start from there, and then we will deep dive into the role as well as we are going to talk about the technical components. So, quickly, let me invite Varun on stage. Hey, Varun. So nice to see you. Uh, there might be some issue. Can't hear you. Can you check? Yeah, please check once. Guys, are you able to hear Varun? Just want to check if there is some issue from our end. Anybody from the chat? Okay. No. Okay. Varun, can you try without the headphone maybe? Might work. Sure, sure. Please take your time. So meanwhile, guys, Varun joined around I think in 2023 at Alma Better, and in 24 he got placed as full stack developer at Hey Coach, and currently he is working over there. He will be talking about first of all why did he choose, right? Because at the end of it, this field is something where when you go into this, there is a plethora of things which you need to do, right? You need to learn coding, as in any field you go you have to go deep dive, any field you choose, and just like that, this field is something which gives you a lot of understanding around how tech works. When you go into software engineering, you are getting into the field which will give you the understanding about cloud deployments, devops, and you have front end development, you have back end developments, you have different stacks which company uses. Let's say you will be using MERN stack, which we cover in our curriculum as well. So there you have MongoDB, Express.js, you have Node, you have React.js. So those are the tools which you have to master. You have to be good at. Then only you can join any organization.
Hello?
Yes, Varun. So nice to hear
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
You
thank
are
God.
okay.
It's working now. Okay, great.
Yeah. All right. So Varun, everybody's here wants to hear from you. So we will start with like why did you choose this field and how it has been now in the company
Uh,
and what type of projects you are working on. How is it going?
well, so I was in sales before this, and just technical things always interested me. And whenever I started researching about things, I found Alma Beta as one of the everyone preferred Alma Beta, yeah, as something they recommend it, and a really good upskilling platform. So yeah, in 2023, like you said, I joined Alma Beta, and everything went smooth. The classes were nice, and I got to learn a lot of things. And then I got an interview at Hey Coach. That was my one and only interview, and I was able to clear that one. So it's been like 9 months now, and yeah. At Hey Coach, we work as a full stack. Like everyone is a full stack developer. There are no specialized front end or back end developer. So since it's a startup, we get to wear a lot of hats, and DevOps is one of those things. We actually have to work. For me, everything was new. Even Git was new, and like I said, the version control and everything was new. How to deploy things and everything. But I got to learn a lot of things, and um, later on the presentation, I'll share what I have learned and what other people can learn from it. So, yeah.
Great, great, great. So now, Varun, one more thing which I would like to understand, right? So let's say if somebody is right now, looking forward to this career, right? How you can show them the lens of what you work, what type of projects are there. So people will be very excited, like how your day to day. Looks like.
Honestly, since I started learning things, and right now, things have changed a lot. And AI has played a real big role in how things are approached now. What is expected from a software developer, and what was expected from a software developer then.
Hmm.
So a lot of things has changed. A lot of companies expect you to know a lot of things, and a lot of companies expect you that um, your tech stack will cover something that includes artificial intelligence.
Hmm.
Right now, my company is hiring new software engineers, and one of the requirement is that you have to have a little bit of experience in LLMs
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
whatever AI you can get your hands on. That's one of the requirements. Be it a fresher or an experienced person, they expect that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose everyone should get their hands dirty with get to knowing AI, anything AI. So
Hmm. Yeah.
like a lot of things have been automated. Like one of my the product manager, he actually was able to create a website from scratch. He just wrote a big prompt and the front end was ready.
Hmm.
So a lot of companies know this thing and they want something more from the engineer. They know that they can write a prompt, but like you said, we still need human touch. We still need a lot of specialization to fix those things, right? So what I would suggest is like the current engineers, they have to learn about AI and they have to polish their skills. Like this industry has moved on, and the pace at which the industry is moving, it's just you have to be on top of everything.
Yeah.
Even I feel like I have to learn a lot of things now, back again. So
Yeah. And it's true, whole world is learning, including you, me, and everyone right now. It's not just
mhm.
us, it's like everybody in the world in tech, they are learning, they are upskilling in AI because it is the requirement.
Right,
We have seen this shift.
and
If I talk about 6 months back, how like what was the requirement from companies, including Hey Coach and our hiring partners and others, right? There it was not like hard and fast AI they need, but now we see that shift. Right now we see
mhm,
that they require some integration, understanding around LLM, understanding about RAG systems, how do you integrate in the whole ecosystem of front end, back end, etc., etc. They require that, and that is what we have done. So we have to maintain that, right? In AlmaX, if you are there, you have to have your resume updated so that you get shortlisted. Otherwise you won't get the opportunity at the end, right? And that is what we are going to do at the end.
right,
Now, one more thing, just one last piece, and then we will continue with the presentation. But so I want to understand. So AI is going to give you the code, right? AI is going to create the website, like you mentioned, your product manager created the website. But how does it look when things become complex? Because as in you get more deeper into, let's say, as taking example of Hey Coach itself, right? Their system, their software, now it has no lot of complexity, lot of dependency, lot of things are there. So how do you think it's going to be like AI can create something or be there directly in adding some components or features, and you are not going to be there automatically? It can be done. Software
I don't
engineers are
think
not
so.
required. So
I
what are
don't
your
think
views
so.
on that?
I don't think so. The current like the state of AI, right? You cannot just ask it to develop something and it will develop everything for you.
Mm,
You have to be there. There is an element of human touch that still needs it. So the way I treat AI at my workplace, right? I don't ask it to code. A lot of people directly ask AI to code. I don't think AI writes good code. What AI is good at is actually be as a buddy, a programmer, be as a partner who can
cool.
guide you in doing things. So what I do personally, and a lot of my colleagues also do that, we discuss it with AI. We just discuss it and we come up to a solution. We know how to do that. We know how to drive a car, but AI provides us a best path how to drive the car. So that's how AI is it, but I don't think it will replace anyone. I don't think right now it's not at a point to replace anyone.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
I don't just AI, but I would still suggest you to just upskill yourself.
Yeah.
Anyone who is watching it to upskill themselves with AI.
Very good. So it's mandatory. You should know how to use AI in your system. You should definitely know how to use AI best for your work. But at the end of it, people should not worry about, at least now.
Hmm.
We don't know what
I
will
don't think so.
happen 5 years
Yeah.
down the line or 10 years down the line, but people should not worry about that it's software engineers are going to get replaced or data analysts are going to get replaced. No, in tech, people are needed, and that is what I'm going to show to people right now, that see, systems are not straightforward and linear, which
Hmm.
AI can predict and do the next stuff, right? There are a lot
Hmm.
of human interventions required, a lot of human thought process that goes over there. How do you plan the rollouts, how do you plan the features, and etc etc, how it goes. And it is very specific to each and every company. Even in the same domain, you will see every company has their own way of working, right? So that's how it is. Thank you so much, Varun. Thank you so much. I'm going to
You're
again
welcome.
invite you on stage towards the end. We'll have a
Okay.
conversation on how did you plan your journey to become a
Sure.
software developer, right? Thank you so much, Varun. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So I hope you have heard and you have understood what Varun has mentioned, right? His journey and how he has worked on his skills from sales to becoming a software developer, and how is it right now panning out for him in terms of projects, right? He is using AI, what are his views on AI working in the real projects. Now, I'm going to talk about one very specific thing. There is one very interesting thing which companies uh, and people in tech, they are involved, and there are lots and lots of ups and down discussions which happens around it, and that is system versioning. You have, let's say, AI with you as a co-pilot writing code, but when you want to release one feature, let's say dark mode in Gmail, which I'm going to talk about it and break it down. So if you want to roll it out for all the users, you are not going to do it for millions and millions immediately, or just in a fraction of second. You would first do for 100 people, then you go for 1 million people, then you go for 10 million. Like that, you ramp up your rollouts, you ramp up your system versioning. So right from the start, how any developer, they add any feature to all these features planning and the flow of it, that is what I'm going to discuss today. And I want to give you a perspective that it's not just about if I can write few lines of code, I can become the tech person as a developer. You have to have these kind of thought process where you understand about how do you put certain things in the system, how do you make things live. That is where you have to keep your mind and make yourself acquainted with and become skilled over there. So let me share my screen once again. We will continue with our presentation. We will talk about what's there as a role of software engineer. So Varun summarized it quite well. I'm going to give you certain components so that you have in mind what you will be getting into. So as a developer, I see this as there are four different components where either you are working as a front end developer, back end, or as a full stack developer, you are going to be involved. So first here, if I talk about, you are going to drive the automation and efficiency. The developer in tech, it's all about driving the automation and efficiency. If I give you an example, just think of it as in an ecosystem, you order any food from Zomato or Swiggy, and it gets delivered through delivery guys, right? There are delivery people who will come and deliver to you. Now imagine you have one app, you have a user app. Just giving an example of, let's say, Swiggy over here, right? You have an user app which you use to order. There is one application for restaurant. They know about that somebody has ordered this, and you have to start preparing, right? Otherwise, how they are going to know? There is one as delivery guy app, right, which they use, that where they have to go and deliver the order. And likewise, there are multiple different apps for internal people, for admin. Why these applications or web applications or mobile applications are required? Imagine if delivery guy, they don't have the application, how chaotic it is going to become. How, where they have to order, they are going to call, they will find something or the other. If restaurant they don't have the application or web application, how chaotic it will become, right? So automation and efficiency. So here, let's say if you don't have the delivery guys app, then in that case, what you have to do is you have to put in 3 4 more people who can call delivery boy after each order and guide them to the right location. That's how it will happen. If this app is not there, then it's going to be a manual, then it's going to be a manual direction given by somebody, and that will bring down the efficiency, that will increase the error. So developer in tech, this is what the first primary objective is. We drive the automation, we drive the efficiency, so that overall process is running tightly. And this is what we keep on doing, right? This is what we keep on doing over and over again, because it's never going to be like 100% done. You always have something or the other as problem. You figure out the problem, you brainstorm on solutions, and then you go ahead and try to bring the efficiency through automation, some features or something or the other. Now, when we go to the next part, data management, right? This is very, very important aspect of developers as a backend developers, you can say, or I would consider backend developers expert in cloud engineering, expert in managing the data, like data engineers, I would say. What they do, right? They are going to work on managing the data. So how and where it will be stored? Data is stored on clouds like AWS. You might have heard now, if you guys are from tech, if you're interested in this, you might have heard already. AWS, you have Azure. So AWS from Amazon, Azure is from Microsoft. You have Google Cloud Platform from Google, right? These are the clouds where your data is present. For most of the companies, there are companies, they have their own server in some physical location. But companies like us, right, we don't want to keep the physical server. We will use or rent AWS or Azure, some machines from there, some storage from there, so that our data is stored safe safely, reliably, and it will not get erased if something happens, right? It will always be like. So all the data, how it is managed, let's say when you are chatting over here or when you are interacting with Alma Better dashboard, some information is stored which helps you with giving you a better uh, personalization, or helps us identify what issues you have, or what we can suggest you to be better, right? Now, these two, again, you can understand. Third part is going to be security and reliability. Again, this is you, I don't have to emphasize on the importance of this. Security and reliability, this goes hand in hand. So you have to have secure system. Otherwise, anybody can come and go and log in and get the information or get the sensitive data. So you have to ensure that on cloud, wherever your data is stored, you have right security and networks and everything configured. And that is again the something which you need to understand. Now, there might be certain levels to it. Right now, as a fresher, when you get into, you don't have to be expert at everything, but you have to have the understanding of all the aspects, that this is going to be something which I am going to do, and I will take it up with time, right? So initially you have to have the understanding about data management bit. You have to understand about automation and efficiency. How do you bring it out with web applications through different tools? And then towards the end, you should get into more into security, reliability. How do you ensure that? And lastly, I will talk about user experience and accessibility, right? So now user experience, when we talk about, as a developer, your responsibility is to collaborate. It's not going to be you saw something and you will go and implement it by yourself. It will always going to be a collaborative discussions. There are product managers, like Varun was mentioning, right? Product has a product manager who will brainstorm on what are the feedbacks they are getting from users, and based on that feedback, what kind of experience you want to give. Let's say if there is some feedback, some feature request. When I say feature is like anything you can see, right? In this chat, you have the feature of GIF. You can send some GIF in the chat. This is one of the feature. You can send emoji over there, or you can have certain other features which can be integrated in the chat, right? So there can be certain features which can be added. Let's say tomorrow, a product manager of this particular platform where you are right now interacting with us will get the requirement of adding the document. So not just emoji, or not just the GIFs. You can add the document as well, so that we can see and we can help you with. So that is one feature request that will come from, let's say, user feedback, or from the product manager to the developer. So developer, everybody will collaborate, and then they will add that feature in the overall ecosystems. These are the four things you will be working on, and these are the four major categories you will be part of, for in some way or the other. In some way or the other, you will be part of this. Great. So this is what the role of developers. Now I want to directly get into the next phase of things, design of an enterprise system. So I don't want to get more into like cloud and modern stack tools. You might have heard this already. I will directly come to our topic for today, and that is how any system is designed when you want to roll out any feature. I want to get to that immediately. So let's start with that. And I'm going to talk about, there are three different phases. If I show you on PPT, these are the three different phases. You have here the build phase. Let's say you have got the feature request, as I mentioned here, where you are interacting with, like that somebody at Google as product manager, they have gotten the feedback from users that user require dark mode because of strain in their eye. You use Google products for quite a long period in a particular day, over years, you need dark mode for your product. So that is a feature request which product manager they got from the users. Now that particular feature they will discuss, they will finalize ki, okay, this should go in the production, this feature should be added. Now what will happen, there will be a build phase. There will be a work which will be done by developers. So let's say you as a developer, or I as a developer, I have been assigned this particular feature to be developed. So you will have certain kind of features where some you will do some code where your option will be, if that option is let's say selected, then overall UI will have darker background, right? And that background and everything can be controlled by HTMLs, CSS, React, and other things around it, right? So that is something which you are going to write the code on. Now, once you have written the code, it will go into deploy phase. Don't look at it right now. We will go into this in a much better view. Right now, it's just the representation. After you have built it, next phase is going to be deployment, right? Build and test. I will say that once you have built it, then testing is done. Don't forget that testing will be done. After testing is done, it goes into deployment phase. Testing, you guys understand, let's say if you are going to use your if this feature is working correctly or not, if there are some edge cases that you have given dark mode, and because of that on Google Doc some issues are happening, on Google Slides some issues are happening, or something is getting broken on Gmail itself, there can be multiple different scenarios which might happen. And there you have QA guys, you have quality analyst, or you have QC guys, which who will look at your deployment, who will look at your feature what you have coded, and they will try to see if everything else is working fine or not. That's the phase which still comes under building phase itself, where developers are working along with QCs and testing guys. Once it will pass the phase of testing, it goes into deployment phase, where you have to take that particular feature. You have all the system currently running, you have a stable version that is currently running. Now what you want to do is you have to add one small feature in your current stable version. So for that there will be a phase of infrastructure, what you need, how do you design the release strategy, we will come to each and everything, and how do you kind of go through the all the CI/CD pipeline, continuous integration and continuous development. How do you go through that phase? Once you have deployed it, then you have operate phase, where you have to continuously monitor the issues, if everything is working fine or not. If you have certain errors coming in, you should know that quickly I'm going to roll it back. If you start seeing the backlash, if you start seeing the error, if you start seeing the crash because of some issue or the other, you can roll back to the previous version. And that is what happens in your operate phase. You have deployed it, now you will look at the some errors, monitor the overall performance. If it everything is going fine, it will keep on running. If anything goes wrong, you should have the option to go back to your previous version and brainstorm on why it happened, and then again do the same phase, get through the same phase again. Now, let's go and understand this particular flow chart, which will give you a better understanding around how do we look at things. What are the different tools which you will also learn when you are going through this software development. And it is very, very required right now for everybody to have a certain view to this. Like Varun mentioned, there is one part as AI, of course it is there, but this is one side where companies are now asking you to be understanding things well. You should not just know that okay, I can write the code and push it. It should not like work like that. You should know the nuances of this whole ecosystem when you want to deploy something, because every company, very few company you will see that they will be developing their whole tech ecosystem from scratch. You will be part of an ecosystem which will have certain application or website or something or the other running. You will be going over there and doing some changes in day to day things. Some features are going to be added, right? So here, starting from the feature idea, as I mentioned, so this is something which comes from product managers, right? You have product managers, you have certain people in business, they might request some feature to your overall ecosystem. It can be driven through competitors as well. So if you see, or product managers or business folks, they see that there are some features in on competitors application which people are liking, they would like to add it in the application as soon as possible. So that is where it initiates. Now that feature idea has come, dark mode in Gmail. Now what will happen, you or me as a developer, we will go and we will start writing the code as I mentioned. After we are done and testing is also done, just imagine this, testing is right now happening, you will push your code in GitHub. Now GitHub is run by Git as a backend logic, right? GitHub is one of the platform. There can be different other platform. There can be in-house platform for Google and Meta which they can use, but GitHub is something which is widely used by millions and millions of all the companies which you think about. Most of the companies, they use GitHub or Bitbucket or something like that, right? It helps you versionize your code. It helps you manage your different codes which you write. So always you as a person, you will push your code in the on GitHub. I'll take the example of GitHub itself. Now there is one component. I will break down that component further. So you will have the option of Git branching and tags. So you can, what you can do is you can create a different branch. So you will have, let's say, main branch, which is current stable version. Okay. And you can have a different branch as dev branch. That there is something which you have done new, dev underscore dark mode. Okay. Dev underscore dark mode. This is your different branch. Now, when I say branch, it's like it's not going to be exactly part of main, but it's something which has all the features of main plus the changes which you have done, plus the changes which you have done. So it will include the changes which you have done in this particular branch. If you push it in the main branch, which is the stable version, whole code might break down. This is where your versionization of code starts. This is where your versionization of overall code and overall system starts, where you are going to put it in a different branch. Now once you push it in this branch, you kind of raise the PR, which is pull request. And once your senior will look at the features, they will merge it back in the main branch, which is running in stable version. They will add it in the main code. So there can be billions and billions of lines of code written over here. It will be, your feature will be added over there. Once your manager will merge the or check the pull request PR and merge it in the main version and give a tag to this. This tag is like, okay, now we have 2.0.1. This tag is given for the next stable version which you see. Next version which you see. May not be stable, but next version which you are going to use. Now, all these things, I'm not going to get into code. There will be, for internal students, there will be a session in the month of September where these all steps will be discussed through code. How do you add it as a feature? First, I want to give you an understanding around how the thought process should be, and the code part will be taken up in the month of September. Now, here, after you have put it in the GitHub branching and tags. That is one side. You put it in a different branch, and then somebody senior will review it and merge it in the stable branch. Now, in that code, there will be certain things which you have to look at. This is where your deployment phase comes in picture. This is what your deployment phase is. You have a CI/CD pipeline, continuous integration and continuous development, where you use Jenkins, where you use Bazel. Bazel is something again developed by Google itself. Jenkins is open source. This is used to do certain things which I'm going to talk about. There is one more thing which you can use, that is GitHub Actions. So GitHub Actions, Jenkins or Bayesian, what it's going to do. So whenever you have a new feature or some application running, what that application requires. That application requires certain infrastructure. Infrastructure, I mean, there will be certain machine on it. On that machine, this particular code will run, right? Your website, your application will run. Let's say you have created some application which has AI and all integrated, right? So that AI and your application will require a machine where it will run, right? That will have some RAM, that will require some core, that might require some GPUs. So all those things, how do you decide on that? How do you give that information to the code? Because whenever you are going to merge it in your main version, and whatever the requirement is, nobody should go and manually do all these stuff. No, it's not going to be there manually done. These are the things which are configured in the code itself, in the code of Jenkins or GitHub Actions, that what you should be doing next. You will be creating a Docker image, a container. This is a container which is having the all the requirement, your code, plus your requirement of packages. What are the versions of some packages, some code that is required over there? What is the environment? Let's say you are using React, or you are using HTML, CSS, you are using certain things. You need those things running on your infrastructure, on your machine as a code, right? Those are installations you need to do, right? Those installations you need to do, and that is what is present in the Docker container. So container is nothing but, let's say if something is running on your computer, because you have some applications, you have certain packages installed on your computer, those all things must be specified in that container, so that when I bring that container and put it in other system, it will automatically install everything so that this application is running. So that is what your first uh, thing is. You have a container that is built. Then after that, you use Terraform. So here Docker image, GCR is Google Container Registry. So you use that as well. And there are multiple different options on AWS Azure. Now, there is one more thing. Once you have this container, where this container will run, how you are going to spawn that. Spawn that means how do you start the machine? How do you start the machine? That is where your Terraform comes in picture. Terraform is again open source, very important tool which you should understand now to get an overall understanding. It will help you initiate certain machines. Let's say you want a machine which has 6 GB RAM, etc., right? Or 8 GB RAM, or like you can have multiple GBs RAM, right? 8 GB RAM, or you can have, let's say, GPU, you can have certain storage which you want, right? All those things can be initiated by writing code in Terraform, and all those information is present in your code itself. Whenever it is merged, it will automatically go over here, create the container, specify what all machines you require, and then all those information will go finally to Kubernetes to run that pod. It means Kubernetes is again towards the end. Again, it is optional. You want to use, it will help. It will be helpful to manage multiple containers, and how much, I would say, how much bandwidth should be given to certain particular container that is managed on Kubernetes. So Kubernetes towards the end, you have lot of different APIs or different services running that Kubernetes will manage, so that wherever service, whichever service is actively being used, most of the resources of server and bandwidth will be allocated to that. It will not be like if I have different things. Let's say I have one container as AI application, right? AI chatbot. Another application can be video rendering, right? In my Alma Better website itself, there is one AI chatbot. There is where this is where you are right now joining and watching the video, right, or interacting with me. There can be other place where content is present. There are other places where there are different things which is present in different containers as a code that is written. Now all these containers will be put it managed it through Kubernetes. So whichever is currently requiring more resources, let's say this requires lot of resources, 64 GB RAM and certain things, it will accordingly allocate, right? Not giving equal weightage to all. Accordingly your usage is happening, those services are going to be given bandwidth, right? So it has come to this part where you are able to run your services, run your containers through Kubernetes. Your things are live, your feature is live, but still you have not put it and initiated it for the users. That is again next part कि आपने Kubernetes पे you have made your some feature live, that is going until there, but after that there are certain things which you have to think about it. What is going to be your release strategy, right? Whatever is running on your Kubernetes, everything is managed through APIs. So whatever happens, let's say you have a client, you have something which you see in front end. Let's say you are right now using this platform where you put as something in chat, right? When you put this emoji or you put some text in chat, what happens? Anything you put it in the chat, right? It goes through API in the backend. Backend is nothing but, again, you have some database with tables. Their information will be stored, right? These databases and tables are nothing but like any file which you see, Excel file which you see, their information will be stored. And then again certain things will be given back through API, which is shown to all, right? Shown to all. There are certain information that is being logged, and through API itself, it is shown over here. So whoever is putting some information, whoever is interacting in the chat, it first gets, let's say, saved in the database, and through API itself, it is getting fetched and shown it over here. So API helps the front end and the back end, or two services, to interact with each other. Data flow happens through API. So this is very important. Any information that is going to flow from one service to another, it's going to happen through API. Like video rendering and AI chatbot, if you want to connect, you can have certain APIs which will interact with each other, with the user on the website or on the application. So API is something which connects everything. Like we have all the organs in our body, how it is connected through the blood vessel, right? So this API works as a blood vessel altogether, which translates or kind of takes the information from one place to. So we have component around API versioning. We will get into that. We will have the component of release strategies, how you strategize your release. You will have the components of feature flags. So whenever you are putting a new feature over there, how do you flag it up? You have the component of DB migration and if data changes. And if everything goes well, you will have the monitoring and alerts, which will be kind of SLOs. We'll talk about SLOs, auto rollback. If there are some errors, it will again go back to the previous stable version. If there are no error, then you do the full rollout to all the users without any hassle. There are certain steps which you need to think about. There might be few things which will be kind of not be used in every deployment. It's not like every deployment will have all these steps, but in general, for most of the deployment, you will have these things in some way or the other integrated, and you should know this as a first meta level. And then of course, as I mentioned in the next session in September for internal students, there will be a code level. How do you figure this out? How do you write it in code? How Terraform, etc., works for one of the feature which we will be including in one of the application as project. All right, so this is what your overall structure looks like. So again, I'm going to give you a brief feature idea. You have, you as a developer or me as a developer will write it code in GitHub. I will push it in some branch which my manager will review. That code will have Jenkins or GitHub Actions code written there. What will happen? Container will be created, what type of machine I need, and then that code with all these machines with container will start running on Kubernetes. Now Kubernetes will have certain Here you will have certain thought process around API. How do we version? How we are going to release to users? Maybe I'm going to release for 10,000 users first, then 1 million users, and then I'm going to go for billion users. In release strategy, do we need to put the feature flag so that if there is some issue, I can quickly turn this feature off and go back to my previous version? That is going to be something which you will be creating. Then you will have the DB migration, database migration. So you will have certain new information coming in. So if, let's say, as a user, if I have selected for dark mode in Gmail, that should persist, right? That should persist whenever I log in next time as well. So that information has to be stored in some database, and this is a new information. So your database and table will also have some different information. You have to incorporate that. And then you have again SLOs and auto rollback if monitoring and alert, if something, some service level information which you need, let's say some metrics which you are tracking, your load time, right? Or people closing, or people not using the Gmail, people deleting their account. These all can be your metrics which you can use to decide on if that has increased, and you kind of tag it to the recent release. You will again roll back to your previous version itself. So that's what your last point is. So build phase, you develop, you deploy with all the infrastructure, and lastly you track and ensure that if anything goes wrong, you go back to your previous version, right? This is what your overall view is. Now I'm going to go into individual components. Like here we have Git branching and tags, right? How do we do this? How do we think about it? We have here API versioning, we have here release strategies, we have here feature flags, we have here DB migration, and lastly we have here SLOs and auto rollback. So these all pointers, I'm going to go bit inside of this so that you understand the concept and you understand the overall meta information, so that whenever you next time think about developing, at least you ask question, at least you think about this, okay, am I do we have to do all these, or is it something we are going to do in a different way? But do I have to, how do I version the API, or how do I look at GitHub branching and tags, etc. Okay, all right, so we will start with the next part, and that is going to be our first component, GitHub branching and tags. All of you guys pay attention. I'm going to ask you which one is the correct answer out of these two. I'm going to explain what this is, one of the component, and I'm going to ask you what this is, right? One or two, which one is the correct answer to explain this Git branching and tags component, okay? So let's first understand. So here the component is Git branching and tags. I kind of gave you this understanding, but I'll again talk about it. I'll just remove this part. We have the clear information. Okay. All right. So now we will go back. We'll try to understand that always there will be so there is a concept of branch in GitHub, or rather you say Git, right? In Git as a backend, on GitHub as a platform, you have a branch concept. Now each branch will have certain code. Let's say there is a main branch. Now this main branch has all the codes which is right now running. Let's say there will be a main branch for Gmail which has all the current version which you are using, all the codes for that. This is right now in production. Okay, that's called as main branch. Now there will be, let's say, thousands of other branches. There are thousands of other branches. Each branch, or there can be multiple branches worked by, let's say, thousands of developers, right? There's a main branch where there is a main branch which is right now in production, and there are thousand other branches where thousands of developers are collaborating, because Gmail, it might be like hundreds of developers are working to create Gmail. There can be machine learning part on Gmail where it will auto summarize. There is a calendar integration on Gmail. There is a chat, Google chat integration on Gmail. So there are so many things in Gmail which you see, right? So all those things, there are multiple developers who are working, and every developer, whenever they need to change something, They will have one branch, right? Let's say dev or XYZ, whatever feature you have, feature name, just to make things clear, you will push it in the Git. Like here, you have a in from main, you took the code, you added a feature, and you added in a different branch. You added in a different branch. After you have added a different branch, now you will push it for, let's say, in the development phase, you will push it for merge, right? You will push it for, let's say, merge. So once it is merged, it might not go in prod directly, right? It will go first in dev, in the development phase, and then testing will be done. I have removed that testing wala part to make it simpler. Just understand so that you can get the clear understanding. So you have pushed this branch. This branch will be sent for testing. Once this testing is done, then your overall code is verified. It means it is working. It's going to be then added back to the main branch where your Gmail will be updated for the users, but it is added to the main branch still, right? It's something where there will be certain configuration that don't yet show for all the users. Show it for certain users, not for all users, and that is something which we will decide next. So this is what you have to understand, that whenever you have certain feature, you are going to update in one of the branch of Git. Then after that, you will create the pull request. After that, your testing will be done. Once the everything is fine, then it will be merged with the prod, the main branch. And once your branch is stable, or it will be given a tag. Whatever you see, you might have seen the package's name, right? At 1.4.0. These are all tags which you give on GitHub, right? On your stable version or whatever your production was. These are the tags. These are the tags which are mentioned in your GitHub. So whenever you install some package and say, or install some package or certain version of application, and when you mention I want to install the 1.4.0, it means there is one of the tag that is present in the application on GitHub, let's say, or any some other application, let's say, company might be using that particular stable version or that particular version you want to install. So this is what the tag is. Okay. Now let's go back. I hope you guys have understood the crux of it, the meta level information of it. Quickly answer me, out of these two, which one is the correct answer? Okay, this is what our first component is: Git branching and tags. So branches are like parallel workspaces where features, bug fixes if there are some issues happening, uh, quickly you want to resolve it, or some new release can be developed safely without breaking the main project. Strategies like feature branch, release branch, hot fix defines how teams coordinate this work. So feature branch is like if new features are added, like dark mode. Release branch, it means there are a lot of different things which you have added, not just one or two features. Whole there are multiple different things which you have changed, and it's a new version release altogether. And then hot fix is something where it's not a feature, it's something which is not working in the current setup for some use cases. You have fixed it, and that goes as a hot fix, but everything goes as a branch itself. These are just the information or the in you know which you put up. Define how teams coordinate this work, right? Second is GitHub branching is copying the code so I can work separately. I can keep everything in one branch and only use me. So what do you think describes the best if I talk about Git branching and tags? Put it in the chat, guys. What do you think out of these two will define the Git branching and you understand this well? What is the correct answer? Whether it is one or it is two. Put it in the chat. Look at the options and put it in the chat. What do you think? Take your time, look at it. Anybody, put it in the chat quickly, guys. So your option is going to be here one. If you look at it, option is going to be one over here. Good. So here you have to have this option as one is the correct answer, where all of you guys please do participate, then only you will be able to understand. This is something which is very, very interesting as well as important. So once you go into the code session where coding will be done, you will be able to understand what is happening there. So branching, it's like parallel workspaces where you have features, bug fixes, and releases managed separately. In one main project, you are not changing over there. You have the certain copies of it where you uh, put your own changes and merge it as per the request. Great. Now we have the next component, that is release strategies. Okay. So in the case of release strategies, this is where it gets very interesting. Now, once you have this versions added, you need to also understand that how I'm going to release it. Okay, what is my strategy to release the new version which I have, right? So first is canary. Okay, canary, it's a term which is mentioned for the use case where you have certain percentage of users which you put it as first. So when I was working, so in one of the deployment where I have worked in American Express, there it was like canary. So you will have 10 first 1,000 users. For those 1,000 users, new version or feature will be applied. Then it will go to the next 10x of it, 1,000, 10,000. Then you will have 1 lakh. Then you will have 10 lakhs. Like that, it will keep on ramping up. You will not do it immediately. That is called as canary. So try on small percentage of users first. It's the safest option, but it takes time, right? You will not do it immediately. It takes weeks and weeks of time. You will take 1 or 2 weeks to deploy for all the users, and sometimes it takes months as well to roll out to the all users. So this is one of the strategy which you can use, right? This is one of the strategy which you can use. Now, companies like Google and if you look at the features, they mostly use CAP, where they start with small set of users, and then if everything is going fine, then they roll it out for all the users. Or it can be like one specific country and then it will be for worldwide. It depends, but it will be like small percentage of users first and then it will be rolled out for all the users. Now, there is one very interesting thing. Next one is blue green. Okay, blue green is you will have one version. Let's say we have this current version. This is again very interesting. Look at it. So this is like you have the current version and you have the new version. New version will be updated or rolled out for all users, and current will be, or the previous one will be kept as backup. It will be kept as backup. Zero downtime. Immediately it is going to roll out for all the people, but the previous version, all the infrastructure, all the machine and requirement will be kept as backup. You need double infra. You will have to pay extra for this because you will be needing those infra present, so that it's, if anything happens, if any issues are happening over here in new, you can go back to your current. You will go back to your previous, right? So this is called as blue green. So you will have one as blue and another one can be as green. So green is, let's say, the previous version, blue is the new version. So blue is rolled out. If anything goes wrong, quickly it will be taken back to green version. But issue is you will have the double infra needed. You will have the copy of infra that is created. Now, in lot of cases, we have seen that Facebook uses this blue green method. You can search about it. Whenever they roll out any reels or shorts or these kind of features, when it was done through, again, there some part will be of Kennedy, but they also use this blue green as a strategy. They will have for all the new users immediately, but they will have the previous version as. And the lastly, you will have rolling. You will have the rolling update servers gradually. So it's something which is cost efficient. So you will have all the servers, database, and everything. You will slowly, you will try to update that, right? And that is something where it is cost efficient. But once you change your server and once you change your machine, it kind of becomes difficult to roll back. So generally, people, they, if you want to go into rolling, you start with Canary itself. You start with small percentage of users shown first, and then if everything goes fine, then you start updating your servers for the new features. You start updating the memory, storage, etc., etc., and then it is rolled out for the full people. Now, this is something which you have to decide based on the use case. What type of feature it is? Is it a hot fix? If it is a hot fix, you can quickly do it for all the users. But if it is a new feature, you do it with small percentage of users first, and then slowly you roll it out for the all kind of users. All users you will be rolling it out. That strategy you need to figure out. This strategy, it cannot be done, with or directly through AI. You have to have that strategy discussed you have to have the thought process around it, that what is going to be the cost if I use blue grain. If I'm going to use canary, it's going to take, let's say, 4 5 or 2 3 weeks. If something is as an issue or hot fix, you want to push it, then in that case it's not something where you have to do it for 2 3 weeks. You should do it immediately. So like that, you have to have a discussion with the team, and then accordingly you have to make that strategy, right? And based on that strategy, you go to the next step. So next is, if I ask you the question in release strategies, what is going to be the right option over here? Option one or option two? Option one is, a release strategy is simply the act of pushing the new version live for everyone once testing is completed. It's about speed and getting features out quickly. Or the release strategies is about deciding how users got exposed to the new version, all at once or gradually, so issues can be caught early without affecting anyone. So again, deciding on how users should get exposed to the new version, which method you should be using, either canary version, small set of users, or you roll it out for all the users, but you keep all the infra and everything as a backup, so that if you want to roll back, you can do that. But in this rolling, the third case, you are not going to keep as a backup. You change the current system itself, but gradually, right? Gradually. So which one is the correct answer over here? One or two? What describes this component? What describes this release strategy when I talk? Everybody, please try to put it in the chat. Please try to put it in the chat. Great, great. So option two, option two. Anybody else? Anybody else? Different? Anybody else having a different understanding or any different, answer which you want to put? So answer is correct. Answer is two. So two is something where it kind of explains this component. We have here release strategy, which means how users will be exposed. It's not about speed. It's not about speed or getting features out quickly, right? It might be for few cases, hot fixes, but if you talk about release strategies altogether, then you have to think about, it's not something where it should be speed up. Rather, it has to be stable and well monitored system, where you are going to go from zero to all users in a gradual manner. So that's why you have the next one. After that, we have one of the very simple thing, where we will go into feature flag. So feature flag is in your code, where you will have, let's say, your current app running in production. You have a kill switch. This kill switch is something, if this is nothing but a, let's say, in code it is yes or no, something like that, a boolean information. If it is yes, then this feature flag dark mode is shown to the user. If it is off or no, then classic UI will be shown. No option to turn on the dark mode will be put. But the kill switch is important. Kill switch is nothing but, which is driven by the next step when I'm going to show, right? Kill switch is where it will be depend upon if anything goes wrong, you quickly put the kill switch as no. You turn your code में output as no. And how it is decided? Based on some metrics, let's say. Metrics can be this: SLO, service level objective. There is some objective that your overall people who are using it, they should not see some kind of crash. They should not report some issues. If your issue reporting is going higher, immediately the skill switch will be turned to no, and that particular feature will not be shown to people. Okay, this is what is called as skill switch. Here you don't have to again go and deploy and create the container, etc., etc. This is something which is kept so that you don't have to do something again, go back to manually and take weeks and weeks for this. If anything goes wrong abruptly, then this kill switch will be, or this command, this code will quickly turn it off without building anything, right? You will have that feature in the feature flag, and that is what is called as adding the feature flag. So you will be called out by product manager or your senior people that add feature flag in your code. Whatever this new feature you are adding, add that feature flag so that you can kill that, you can turn it off if anything goes off. Rest everything will work fine. So those kind of feature flag you will see added, or you will be asked to add. It's not just about code, as I mentioned. It's going to be these kind of configuration which will be asked, that you manage deployment and application in a right manner. Okay, so if I talk about here, out of these two, if I explain what your feature flag is, It's just, if I look at, it's just another way of turning features on or off inside the code. No, it's not just that. It's about feature flags are a way of controlling who sees what in production. Switch to manage rollouts, test, and experiment. So whenever you are, this particular feature is on for, let's say, 1000 users, then this feature will be turned on for 10,000 users. Like that, this feature flag will be turned on for the users based on how do you roll out the test or you want to do the experiment. It's not like you turn it off or turn it on, it will be done for all users. You will do it for certain level of users or certain category of users. So that's why the option 2 is correct. Feature flag is very, very important to see, to control what happens in production, and switch to manage different rollouts, as I mentioned, or test or experiment what you have decided in release strategy. That is something which will be controlled here. Now, going to the next part where we have SLOs and auto rollback. Again, very interesting thing. SLOs is service level objective. I already mentioned. Let's say you have new version running for some users. After that, you check the health, speed, like your speed of the website, errors that is being reported. If it is within some level, always there will be issues around it. But if it is within some level, then you increase rollout to more users. You roll out this feature to more users. Otherwise, you stop it. You go back to the previous stable version. That's what your SLO is. And that is what is mentioned over here. So monitoring is about collecting logs and charts, something go manually decide what to do. Of course, it happens. You have the monitoring to collect the logs and charts, logs mostly, where you can further see and decide what should be done. More than that, SLO is defining clear health target. So for your website, what is the target of health? That is something which is mentioned over there. If these are bridged, system can automatically stop rollout and roll back to stable version. So this is something which is very, very important, very, very important in any rollout. You always have that configuration with you, and you always have that threshold. Okay, what, how I am going to make the decision whether this is working or not, what number you are going to track. That is also very important, whether it is some issues coming up or speed of the website, speed of the application, etc., etc. Based on that, you will put up a threshold. If it crosses that threshold, it goes back to the previous stable version, and you will go back to the again to the board, think about it, see why it happened, and how you can make your system or next feature rollout more stable. Now, lastly, we have two different things which I am going to explain it to a certain level, where I'm going to talk about the API versioning. So as I mentioned, everything is run by API. If something has changed in the feature or something has changed in the overall ecosystem, APIs will also upgrade. So there will be, let's say, version 1, version 2. In general, you don't immediately change from version 1 to version 2. You keep both the versions together so that you have this API versioning, and issues are not happening in different places, because same API, same code, or same that API is being used by 10 different places. And there is a code of whether it is V1 or V2. If you change few things, 10 different places, it will start showing the error. So you keep the previous version, you create the compatible layer. It means if you use V1, it will go into V2 itself. Those kind of layers you are going to put. You put the deprecation notice. You will put the deprecation notice so that any developer who is using it, you will give a warning to them. You see, this particular version will get deprecated or it will be removed in next 1 month or 2 months. Better start migrating from version 1 to version 2. So that deprecation notice you put it up, right? So this is how you manage the API versioning, so that if anybody else, let's say if I am using Google Map API, going little bit different from Gmail example which I was saying. So Google Map API, lot of companies like Zomato, Swiggy, or all the location based services, if you see, they are using. If something Google has changed in Google Map, they will have the API exposed to these platforms, right? All these platforms, they use the API of Google Map of Google. Okay. So if something has changed, and if that version changes, all these apps will start showing the error and all these app will crash. So it will not happen that that particular version will be immediately removed. There will be two different versions, and warning and notices will be sent ki currently this version has this particular feature which will give you the output if you want to include this new feature. Otherwise you can use version 2. Better start migrating from version 1 to version 2. So in tech you will always have these kind of messages coming. You will always have these kind of messages when you are using third party. They will be sending you that this particular version is going out, add change this, update this, like that. Those are going to be the next thing which always you are going to see, right? API version. Now the last is going to be out of all backend migration, the data which you have, right? Now data, again, when you have certain features which are added, you will always have the question around, am I going to use the old table, or where there will be new columns or table which will be added? If it is added, you have to redesign that, right? You have to backfill old data into new database, switch to new database. You have to remove to, let's say, old database, and then you have to kind of remove old all database. Before you do that, you have to check the stability of new database. Then you remove the old database and roll it. Otherwise, if it is not stable, you roll it back to database. And the data where it is getting stored, that is also one component where you have to think about where that information is getting logged. Is there any change required over there as well? Okay, so there are multiple different things. If I talk about what all different components we have discussed, these are the things which, if you just hear and understand to a certain extent of it, it gives you a good perspective around how any software development happens, right? You have GitHub branching and tags in development mode. Then you have the strategy around how things should be released, your new feature. You create the feature flag so that you can roll it back, kill it if it is not working. You have certain metrics which you use, service level objectives, which will be kind of like what metrics, errors or speed or something or the other, you will keep it. If it goes beyond that threshold, you are going to roll it back to the previous version. Then you have certain things, let's say API versioning. So whatever API is exposed to different users, you will keep different versions still running so that it's not going to show error immediately. You will have some deprecation notice. And then you have database migration. So if new feature is added, you will need to add some information in database also. That also be something which should be looked at when you are updating it. Okay. Now you must be understanding that it's not just straightforward. This is where I started, right? This is where I started, that it's not straightforward. When you make something live, right, you need human. That's what Varun also mentioned, right? That you need human intervention. And these are the things we constantly think about, we constantly discuss with team, we constantly discuss with manager, we constantly discuss with different stakeholders, that what should be the right version of it. It might happen that one deployment is different than other deployment. In one of the deployment, your strategy was different. In the second deployment, your strategy is different because the nature of feature can be different. Okay, how quickly you want to put up, how critical it is. Those are the things which might be taken into consideration, right? And there are multiple different things. I have not considered around beta release. So after this also, if you have a major release, doing all these, you will do a beta release as well. You will release it to, let's say, all the, you will have a different version. You can ask people to choose between a beta release versus the stable version. So you will ask them to, let's say, check out the beta release. Now they will check the beta release, they will see if there are any issues, they will give the feedback, etc., etc. That is also something which is taken as a strategy. So in release strategy, your beta release can be one of the strategy that can be, let's say, rolling, or out of these three there can be fourth part as well. You have a beta release, separate software, you give the option to user to choose between them. Okay, so there are different strategies which you have to go through. So at the end of it, I want to tell you guys that if you want to become a developer, if you want to get into this field, which will give you a very good sense of how tech works, right? If you want to get into tech, and if you want to be part of this whole journey, you have to have, apart from your technical understanding, let's say React, Mon Stack, all the things, you need to have these understanding, or at least have a view of it. You need to know version control, Git and branching strategies. You need to know CI/CD pipelines, GitHub Actions, Jenkins, right? How you create the containers, your Terraform. Your next is Kubernetes. How do you do that? Deployment strategies like Kubernetes and Docker. And lastly, you have the logging of observable, observe. How do you observe it, monitor it, log it? Grafana, Prometheus, and there can be other tools. It's not limited to these tools itself. Any tool you learn, at least learn one tool, and at least have the exposure in one of the projects, so that you make yourself very strong in this whole ecosystem of how it goes. Just scratching the surface now in this world, tech is not going to accept you. You have to go deeper into this. You have to understand the nuances, right from the fundamentals to understanding all these things. It will give you an advantage in this tech world. Now it's all about opportunities and everything is there. How do you and how deeply you understand things, right? That is what the requirement of companies. Basic things now everybody can do, but can you go bit further and make yourself skilled and confident in owning this whole stuff, right? Code, deploy, and monitor. Can you own it? So that is what is required by the companies. Now, if I talk about Alma Better, we have integrated this and we continuously try to integrate from 2023 to 2024. In 2025, we have added lots and lots of updation. Let's say it is required, as Varun also mentioned, that tech industry is changing, whether you are applying for front end or back end or any other role, you will see that AI is getting integrated over there. They're asking for AI integration. They're asking for understanding about RAG, LLM, etc., etc. over there. So that is something which is included. And on top of it, it's not just like you can write 10 lines of code, then you are a coder. You need to understand this DevOps, which I was talking about. You need to understand this system, overall system design, how it should be done, so that any feature in at enterprise level, it can be done. And you understand those things. You can be part of those things. So if you want to get into this, if you are interested, of course, this is something which is very rewarding, very satisfying, and it gives you a lot of skills which you will be using in the future in any place or the other. If you are into that, of course, you can explore Alma Better. You can go ahead and see how our program is designed. Now, what I want to do is I will, ask Varun to join on stage. I will ask him to talk about his journey, right? Because all the other things you can find it on uh, you know our website, and of course admission counselor will be joining, and if anybody is interested, you can ask questions, you can get the clarification. But here what I want is, I want Varun to take his own journey, take you guys through his own journey, and give you an understanding, right, what it requires, right, where you should give the focus on all those things. Now Varun will be talking about. Give a quick thumbs up, guys, if you have understood the concept to a certain extent. You understand that it's not the straightforward thing where you have to do certain things, but at the end you have to have the understanding about how does your overall system works, right? How do you versionize it? How do you take it forward in a way where you will be able to kind of understand, and you will be able to make things stable by not making mess around the tech, right? You have to have a gradual rollout. You have to have a feature that is well tested, monitored, and then it is put out in the world for millions of people to use. Hey Varun.
Hey, hello.
Hello, welcome back on stage. So how
Thank
was
you.
it? How was the all the information? So what is your
Actually,
take on that?
I found it pretty funny. One thing, till last year, I had absolutely no idea about all the things you were talking. Like everything was new to me, and few things I understood theoretically, but nothing practical. And most of the things is just went on top of me. But after working in at Hey Coach, right, I got to know how intuitive these things are. Whenever we study the theoretical part, right, we think this is something really difficult. This is something that I'm not made for, something that I might not be able to do. But within 1 month, 2 months, 3 months down the line, when you're working in a company and you get to use these things on a regular basis, you realize these are just tools that actually make your life easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I joined Hey Coach, I was going through the code base, right? And they were telling me, so there were different branches and there were different repositories, different projects, different repositories. And at that time, we were transitioning from a monolithic structure to microservices.
Mhm.
And everything seemed new to me. It was something that I used to run away from. Every time someone said, yeah, push this code to GitHub, got a branch, and create a new branch, anything. I used to get scared a lot. I used to Google and ask ChatGPT if this is something I'm even made for. So, but with the passage of time and when the like whenever you're working on things, you realize these things are made for your convenience.
Mhm.
And especially GitHub. I used to be so afraid of GitHub, but now I actually love GitHub, and it has become so intuitive. And the best part is, whatever you were telling me, we actually do that in the
Yeah.
in our workplace also, right? Everything you were telling me, and I was listening carefully, and I was like, I could relate those stuff. So it became very easy for me to visualize. Like, we also have a main branch which actually goes to the
Mhm.
production, and
Yeah.
we have a develop branch which is for internal testing. And every time we have to work on a new feature or any hot fixes, bug fixes, we actually cut a branch from the develop branch, work on that, and we then raise a PR against the develop branch. So in our company, we need approval of two people, one for a colleague and one for our engineering manager or the TL, whoever is available. And only then we get to get that particular branch merged to develop. And then we test it on internal servers. We test it company wide. So develop is available to everyone. We test it there. Then we have a specific time when we can only merge to main branches,
Mhm.
and we can only develop can be deployed anytime we want. It's internal, right? But main branch, we have only specific time during the day where we
Mhm.
can actually deploy the main branch. So Hey Coach is a lot like Alma Better, right? It is an upskilling platform which
Mhm.
provide codes and everything. So whenever something goes out to the main branch, the user gets logged out. And we don't want that the user goes out while they are studying or while they are in between a session. So we need to take
Mhm.
care what time actually the main branch goes out. So that's how everything is. So I just want to tell everyone that don't be worried that if something is new, something is you're not sure about something, right? Because
Yeah.
everything seems very difficult in theory, but when you start working on things, it just becomes very intuitive. So
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. And that's how it is. Actually, you are telling it right. So when in tech, particularly, you have lot of such terms, right? You will have so many
Hmm.
tools. You will have a lot of terms, which kind of makes you think it is very difficult. But when you do it
Right.
once, right? When you do it once, it becomes simple. And in the world of DevOps, I would say, right, when which I kind of had the discussion with the students, right? You will see these are one-time thing. Once you do it, you have the understanding, right?
Yeah.
Once you have done,
So
you have seen this, you will know, okay, okay, this is what it does, right?
yeah, exactly. So I was asked for one of my engineer, one of the team leader, he asked me to write a CI/CD pipeline. It made me really nervous. I don't know what CI/CD meant at that time. I didn't
Mhm.
know what CI/CD was. I don't know what a pipeline meant. I don't know anything. But it's a simple YAML script that we have to
Yeah,
run, and
yeah.
it becomes so easy. In Jenkins, we have to just hit deploy, and the CI/CD pipeline, it pulls all the migration, pulls all the series, and whatever we have to do, it just does everything automatically, and the deployment becomes a breeze. It becomes very easy. Otherwise, sometimes we have to actually go to the Docker container. We have to pull the latest by ourselves. We have to run the migrations by ourselves, the series by ourselves, and then restart the Docker container. So everything, all of that is just contained inside that CI/CD pipeline. It becomes really intuitive after that.
Correct. Great, great, Varun. Now let's go bit. I'll take you to the year 2023, right? When you started, right?
Mhm.
So how was your, kind of journey? How you have planned your, from day one till you got that confidence, you sat for interviews, cleared that. So how
Mhm.
was it? How did you plan it?
Well, so before joining Alma Beta, I was preparing by myself also. But what Alma Beta gave me was a path, a direction to which I had to. Whenever we are preparing ourselves, I don't know about other people, but I didn't have a path. One day I was preparing that, the other day I was preparing something else. And yes, I was learning, but it was not in a very organized way. So Alma Better gave me that, and that helped me a lot to understand. So we started with front end, then we came to back end, and then DevOps and all those things. So that was something that and I also got an opportunity to actually work on a project from start to finish. When we are working by ourselves, right, we don't finish a project. We start by,
Mm,
in
mm,
excitement, but we don't finish the project. Alma Better actually gave me that push, that target that I have to achieve this to actually sit in the placements. So
mm.
yeah, that was a really educating experience for me. And then when the placement started, I remember when I got a call that I have been picked for my resume has been picked for Hey Coach. I was really nervous. I was like, I don't know what they would ask and I don't know what will go on. It was with one of the TL. So it went with the as a breeze. Like we had a lot of mock practices, right? Mock interviews, and they were exactly the same as the real life interviews. All the questions, like everything, they were exactly like real life interviews. So when he started asking me those questions, I was like, oh, I know this answer, and it was something that I've already experienced with someone. So that helped me a lot. And as I said, like I only interviewed for Hey Coach. That was just one company, my only first company that picked me, and that was the only company I interviewed for. So
Great,
yeah, I got to
great.
practice a lot. So that was really helpful. Mock interviews, if anyone can get mock interviews, that's a really good thing, really good way to practice your interviews.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, Alma Better helped me a lot in that.
Thank you so much, Varun. Now, one thing which I would like to understand, you mentioned that you started your journey, professional journey from sales, right? From non-tech background.
Mhm,
So how
mhm,
difficult it was for you to cope up? Because when you go into software development, right, it's like deep tech which you are getting into, right? You have to get into all these stuff where you have to learn
mhm.
and from scratch you are doing because you're from non-tech. How difficult was it, and what were the challenges which you faced?
Well, the main thing you have to do is be persistent. Like if you're learning something, if you're doing something, be persistent at it. Like there'll be a time when you'll have self doubt. When I joined Hey Coach, I had a lot of self doubts that
Yeah.
I don't think this is for me. They used to talk big terms, which was very new to me, and everyone I see knew those terms. Even the person joined with me, he had knowledge of Docker, he had knowledge of Kubernetes, and all this, and I have had absolutely no idea what Docker was. So I I just thought that I'll just keep doing stuff, and if I get stuck, I'll figure something out. So that's the thing, that you have to be persistent at something, no matter where you come from, right? I actually am surprised at myself how much I was able to learn in the past 9 months. Like I learned a lot, and the only thing I did was just keep on. So if someone is doing something, so I learned DevOps. DevOps was not something that was necessary for us to learn. We have a DevOps engineer, and whenever I saw him doing something, whenever I saw him writing commands, the YAML scripts and all those things, I learned from that. I observed him. I asked him questions. I learned from that. I asked him if I can do that. So now only three people have DevOps access. The Azure. So Hey Coach uses Azure. A lot, like you said. I think Annovator is using AWS. You
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Right. We use Azure in Hey Coach. So only three people have access to Azure, and I'm one of that. So yeah, the only thing is you observe, you learn, you ask questions, and you just keep at it. You keep at it, and with time, everything becomes very easy. That's the
Yeah.
thing. So you just have to be at it.
Yep. And you have to be consistent where you started, right? If you are consistent and if you are interested in this field, right, it's going to give you a lot of dopamine, right? It's a field
Mhm.
of dopamine where you work on something, you see it happening, you release it, people are using it. It gives you so much of satisfaction.
That's the best part whenever we release something, right? So the best feeling comes that you get a specification from a product manager. Yeah, this is something we will start working on, and in few months, maybe depending on the future how long it takes, you see actually people using that. You get feedback from people. So that's the best feeling, that you created something from scratch. And that's the best thing in startup also. You get to own a lot of stuff. You get to
Okay.
create a lot of stuff which you might not get in big MNCs. So you get to learn a lot. So,
Got it. Varun, so that is all from our end. Thank you so much. And thank you for taking out of your time. I'm sure you must have enjoyed this whole session, right?
I enjoyed actually. I was
Sharing
listening
your
to everything and I was relating to
yeah, and I'm sure you must have enjoyed this session like you do
it.
enjoy your coding, right? Because here you get
Yeah.
to talk to so many people, and this video and this conversation will go lot of different people, right, through different channels. So I'm sure this is going to help a lot of people out there. Thank you so much for taking out of your time, and
Thank
I'm
you.
wish you all the best for your journey as well. It's lot
Thank
to
you.
come, right? It's been 9 months, and I'm sure it will go to a different length in future, right? So all
Right.
the best to you,
Thank you.
and thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining. And thank you from all the community, I would say, to you. So now, Varun, I will take you out of stage. Thank you so much for joining.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. So this was Varun, and you have heard about how he has done it. Because at the end of it, uh, there are a couple of points which I would like to highlight. First was the consistency, right? Interest is one thing. You want to get into this field. At the end, it's going to be something which is not going to be easy like any other field. Any field you get into, if you want to secure your future or pursue a career, it's not going to be easy. छोटे से छोटी चीजों को आप अगर लीजिए, you will find uh, there are, nitty gritties over there. You have to get that towards the perfection. Not perfection will not happen in 1 month or so, but you have to get through your goal and get into that career choice. So any career choice you get into, interest is something which is very very important. And when you have that interest, get into this, be consistent, and keep that learning wala phase always on. As I mentioned, all of us in tech, like including me, when I have certain numbers of experience, years of experience in this field, still right now I am learning, and whole world is running that learning. That is what I can for sure say, right? So all of you guys, get into this, learn, make yourself aware about all these terms. There will be coding sessions that will be scheduled in September. Please do join those sessions. That will be for internal community. So please do join those sessions and ensure that you learn these stuff how to do it. As mentioned by Varun, right? You see it once, you will find it easy and confident in this. And if you are able to talk about this, if you are able to talk about AI, if you are able to talk about DevOps, you will have a better position to clear the interviews or get into companies. All right. So now, guys, that is all from my end. We will have, if anybody here who is interested in, taking this course forward, or you want to start your journey in a structured way with the right curriculum, we have our senior admission counselor here, Srinivas. He will be helping you guys. He will be taking you through journey. If anybody here wants to ask any question, please feel free to put it up in the chat. Feel free to connect with Srinivas to take it up further. Hey Srinivas, how are you doing? How are you
Yeah.
doing?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing? I'm doing. Thank you so much.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining. And
Thank you, sir.
Srinivas, now stage is all yours. I'm going to go off stage. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you, Srinivas. Thank you, guys. Bye bye. Enjoy your weekend. Take care.
So hi guys. So specifically, first of all, thank you so much for joining. The masterclass session with Alok sir. Okay. I hope like everyone got a brief understanding like how the program works. What are the things that you need to learn to become, a successful developer, or you can say you have heard many things from our alumni as well. Okay. Now, if I'll talk about myself, okay, so I'm working in Alma Better as a admission manager. You can say a senior counselor as well. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give a little bit brief about what are the courses that Alma Better offers. Okay. The second thing is that I'm going to give you a brief about like how the student dashboard that you can navigate. Okay, what exactly is the Alma Better all about? Okay, how many projects that we are going to conduct? How you are going to navigate all your softwares, tools, technologies? How you are going to navigate, or you can realize your own topics and all these things. Okay, how you are going to navigate your own study? Like what are the projects that you have completed so far? What are the modules that you have completed so far? Okay, if you are facing any sort of difficulties, how you are going to connect with your mentors, yeah, how you are going to access the live course access and all these things. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to share you the my screen, okay, where you will get a proper understanding about the Alma Better. Okay, we'll go by step, then I'll in the end I'll explain you like how the student dashboard works of Alma Better about this particular course. Okay, then if you guys are having any queries, then definitely you can just put your queries in the chat bar. Okay, specifically I'll just look into it and I'll just try to give all the answers or the queries that you guys are having about the particular thing. Okay, so just give me a minute. I'm just going to share my screen and yeah, I'm going to explain you about the program and how the thing's gonna work for you. Yeah. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Okay. So now if I'll talk about like what are the things that you're going to learn in Alma Beta. Okay. So first of all, we'll try to discuss like about the Alma Beta. Okay. So you guys are already know. Okay, Alma Beta is basically a tech platform where we are giving industry relevant knowledge to the people. Okay, who wanted to start their career specifically into the IT domains, who wanted to start their career specifically into the front end developer domain or the back end developer domain. Okay, so we are going to first of all give you the training. Okay, that from the help of the industry experts. Okay, and accordingly we are going to help you with the placements path puzzle. Okay, so we are going to discuss everything in a brief way. Okay, so now if I'll talk about what are the things that you are going to learn or what exactly is this Alma Vitra all about. Okay, so first of all it will be going to work in the same way. Okay, you are going to work into the studies. Okay, you are going to do study in the first of all the group. Okay, so that because might you will not you don't know any other in particular badges, right? So it might someone is from north side, someone is from south side, someone is from the east or the west. Okay, so the main thing is that it will be easy for you guys to to make sort of networking. Okay, which is going to help you. Okay, then basically when it comes to the technical knowledge, okay, or the projects part. Okay, so in most of the people in their last year of their semester, right? So basically what they do a projects, okay, in the teams. Okay, the same thing here you are going to do, but these projects that we are going to provide you, it's industry level projects. Okay, throughout the program that you are going to miss, first of all you are going to learn everything theoretically, then you are going to implement it into the practical way, and the last one basically you are going to learn as that how you are going to get ready for the jobs. Okay, what are the necessary steps as a learner that you need to take throughout the journey of 6 months. Okay, now when we talk about why Alma Better that you should, okay, so first of all the curriculum that Alma Better is providing, that is industry relevant. Okay, because most of the people might in the session are the engineers or might be they are coming from the non-tech background or technical background both. Okay, but most of the people doesn't know what exactly the company requirement is as of now, right? Because even though you have completed your graduation, but you know those, like when you read the JD, like job description of the most of the companies, right? So most of the students are not ready to fulfill the requirement of these companies, right? So here the curriculum that we have designed in a such a way that is industry level curriculum, we are going to covering all the topics which is currently required from the companies, and we are going to start it from the basics. Okay, reason being because nobody's in, if I'll talk about in this particular session, nobody is there who have learned all these things in your curriculum or in terms of your graduation curriculum, right? So whatever the things that you are going to learn, everything is new for everyone. So we are going to start from the basics till advanced level. So step by step, we are going to climb the ladder. Okay. Now, how the things that you are going to work here? Okay, so you will get a properly a live classes. Okay, it is that the live interactive lectures from the different industry people. Okay, who is already working in the domain from last 10 to 15 years or 20 years. Okay, as well as let's suppose if you are not able to attend the live class, you will get the access of the recorded classes as well. Okay, now I told you earlier, right? So in the live class, you are going to learn everything theoretically, but how you are going to learn and you are going to implement all these things in practical way. Okay, so we are going to provide you more than 20 plus capstone project. Okay, along with 1,000 plus coding problems and assessment. Okay, because see, a developer job is all about more practice you will do. Okay, more industry relevant resolution you will get, you will able to understand as yourself where you stand in the competition. Okay, now after these particular scenarios, okay, there will be a daily doubt clearing resolution, because most of the people will say, so the course is online, like how is the person is going to, let's suppose if someone is having any sort of queries, how they are going to resolve it. Okay, so we are having a separate mentors team. Okay, we are going to run every day a doubt clearing session. Okay, it will be a sort of one-on-one mentorship. So you, whenever you feel you are having some sort of doubt, you can simply come on the student dashboard portal. Okay, you can join the support, live support from the mentorship session, and you can take one-on-one mentorship session. Okay, now in terms of the placement part, okay, so it's not like once you complete the program we are going to directly going to ask you to sit for the final interviews. Okay, first of all we are going to train you. Okay, in terms of we are going to help with the resume building session, in terms of your conducting your mock interviews. Okay, with the help of the dedicated career coach. Okay, so basically what exactly is the agenda of us to taking the mock interviews? Because see, in the mock interviews as a learner you will able to understand what are the mistakes that you are making throughout the interview process. Okay, because if as a human being if you are getting to know, okay, these are the mistakes that I'm making in the particular process, so I don't think so like as a human being we are going to make same mistakes in the final approach as well, right? So that is the reason we are going to provide you a sort of particular mock interview session first of all, and then your final interviews that we are going to conduct. Okay. Now, whatever the programs Alma Better that we offers, that comes with a 100% job guarantee. That means Alma Better, as an institute, going to take the guarantee about your job as well as salary package, both the parts. Okay. And why we are taking the guarantee? Reason being because we are office is in Bangalore, so we are already into the IT hub. Okay, we are having hiring partners like different hiring partners with the different domains. Let's take example of IT sector. If you take the example of oil and gas sector or pharmaceutical sector, finance sector, e-commerce sector, whatever the name you take. Okay, we are having all the options here. Okay, for the in terms of the placement part. Okay, now which I already told you, like the technical skills, how you are going to learn. So first of all, you are going to attend the live lectures. Okay, then you are going to do a project that is comes under the lab experience. Okay, you are going to work on the projects. Okay, there will be a sort of group discussion. So everything that you are going to do in a properly manner. Okay, so that you're not able to miss any sort of point in this particular things. Okay, now most of the times, yeah, as a student sometimes we get demotivated. Like let's suppose if you're stuck on some sort of problems, right, and you're even putting like 100% efforts, you're not able to clear it or not. Okay, most of the times we do feel demotivated, right? So in that case, you are already having a one-on-one mentorship option, which I already told you, right? As well as we provide you a guest lecture. So guest lecture is conducted by many people or from the different industry. Okay, so they will come live, they will take your lectures, they will give you a real-time scenario, what exactly the industry expectations from the candidate like you. Okay, what are the things that you should learn, what are the skill set, or what how many projects that you should have, what sort of projects or what sort of hands-on experience that you should have in terms of the projects or their technical knowledge. Okay, then and again, like there will be a communication participation, most of the things are there. Okay, now almites, this is something is like for the placement part. Okay, so when learner feels now I want a job guarantee. Okay, so there is some different criterias. Okay, so alma is one of the criterias in this particular job guarantee program. Okay, now to enter into the alma X program, basically there will be an exam that you are going to conduct, a bcat exam, alma better comprehensive assessment test, based on your syllabus, where as a learner you can also evaluate, and as a institute we can also able to evaluate you. Okay, what are the things that you have learned so far, how are the things going to work for you. Okay, then accordingly, like many things are there, like you should complete your all assignments, your projects, many things are there that you should complete so that you can eligible for this almax curriculum program. Okay, yeah, so these are some examples about the different companies I told you, right? So if I'll talk about the example of Amazon, so that comes under this e-commerce domain. When we talk about the Uber, that comes in transportation domain, right? So Tech Mahindra, Accenture, KPMG, JP Morgan and Chase, Polygon. So many companies are there. Okay, so now it when we say we are, let's suppose if you are targeting for the MNC companies, so like there will be a competition for you. So you should have that sort of skill set which is matching with company requirement. Okay. Second thing is that, like, suppose if you're targeting for mid cap companies, okay, then again the expectations of those companies will be totally different. Okay, if you're targeting for the startups, then their expectations as a candidate will be totally different. Okay, so we are going to make sure that every person is having a proper understanding, okay, about each and every curriculum part. Okay, now when we talk about the salary distribution, okay, now let's suppose the person who is coming as a fresher into the industry. Okay, so salary slab, if I'll talk about the standard salary slab, they start from 5 LPA to 10 LPA. Okay, that is a standard salary slab for the freshers. Now it depends on your efforts, or you can say your hard work of these 6 months of duration. The more efforts you are going to put, you are going to get a better salary package. Okay, let's suppose if you feel you are having the capabilities that you can crack a job of more than 10 LPA, yes, there are possibilities, but yes, for that you should also that sort of skill set. Okay, so this is how we are going to learn everything in this particular program. Okay, now when we talk about the instructor or the mentor, so yeah, so there is some example like Rachit Jain, who is already working as a data scientist in BCG. Okay, then we are having a people who is already working into the different MNC companies like in Walmart or in Accenture. Okay, so all these people are there who is going to help you, who is going to teach you the real time knowledge about the employees. Okay, now in terms of the web development, okay, so there are Neeraj Sharma is already working as a developer in the Microsoft. He's going to come live and he's going to teach you. Then we are having Mr. Sandeep, who is already working as a software developer in a SAP. Okay. Then we are having a person who is a Jyotirmay Deb, who is already working as a front-end developer in Apple. Okay. Then we are having a Vijay Pratap Singh, who is a principal engineer at Herman. Okay. So there are different people from the different sectors, or who is working with different companies, who is basically going to come live, and they're going to teach you about everything about this particular program. Okay. Now these are some success stories. So you can go on Alma Better page, you'll able to see everything. Okay. Now the main part is the student dashboard walkthrough. Okay, so now what is the meaning of the student dashboard portal? So see, as this is an online program, right? So we don't want learner to make many efforts in terms of the learning part. Okay, we have kept in very crisp and clear manner. Okay, so I'll present you about the student dashboard. Okay, so this is a student dashboard basically for each and every learner will get. Okay, once you enroll in this particular program, okay, so in homepage it's very easy, you will able to navigate everything. Okay, it's same work as our mobile screen, like where all the applications will be there. Once you click on the application, you will able to navigate all the applications part, right? So this is the same thing. Okay, in the home page you will able to see everything, like whenever your upcoming classes are going to happen. Okay, what is your code, what is the batch size, everything you'll able to see. Okay, now these are some coding and practice coding assessment from the different companies that already have in the different interviews. So we are going to give everything in a such way that you should have that sort of understanding. If you're applying for Amazon, if you're applying for Airbnb, what sort of questions these people ask in terms of the coding one. Okay, now this is some practice. I told you, like when you wanted to become into the slab of more than 10 LP now, so the more practice if you do, more easy for you to crack the interview for the better salary packages. Okay, so what exactly we do, we offer you a quiz assessment that is asked by the different companies. Okay, I'll share you like what are the problems are there and how the things that you are going to evaluate you. Okay, now these are some projects. I told you, right, learning is a totally different part. In the live lectures, yes, you can grasp as much of knowledge you want in the live lectures, but until and unless you're not going to implement into the practical way, that knowledge is not going to help in a much better manner. Okay, so there are some capstone project, okay, from the different companies in terms of the back-end developer. As a front-end developer, what are the things or roles and responsibilities that basically you handle, everything you will be able to understand in this particular program. Okay, there are some supplementary courses. I told you right in the earlier. So there will be some supplementary courses. The people who feel I wanted to put some more efforts, I'm having some extra time. Okay, definitely you can go in the section and you can go and you can complete the supplementary courses. And yes, these are some professors I already discussed about that matter. Now, when you talk about the learn part, okay, so learn, this is something basically is that there are some models. Okay, so when you talk about the models, okay, so in first model we have kept it in a very crisp and clear manner that we don't want learner to be a confused. First of all, okay, so first of all, in this first module, introduction to the web development, these are the 7 chapters. Okay, so after completing some chapters, there will be some assessment that we're going to do. Okay, and yes, there will be some mid course assessment, end course assessment. Okay, now in every chapter we have put some sort of lessons so that it will be easy for learners to grasp this particular knowledge. Okay, it should not feel okay there are a number of things in the plate and it will be difficult for you to grasp it, right? So that is the reason we have kept it in a very crisp and clear manner. Okay, after in every chapter you'll be able to see the lessons. Okay, in foundation track there will be some lessons. Again, into the introduction to the programming there will be some lessons. Now once you complete this first chapter, then in fourth chapter you are going to conduct one assessment, so that it will be easy for you to navigate as a learner from your side as well. What are the things that you have did so far as of now? Okay, and how are the things that you are going to do? Okay, this is all about your practice. Once you complete this particular program, okay, then specifically what exactly we are going to do, we are going to provide you a capstone project. Okay, I told you right now, in this all chapters, in this mid course assessment, in last course assessment, now you got the theoretical knowledge, like what are the things that you need to learn in this one part. Now how you are going to implement it. For the implementation part, you will get a capstone project from the different companies which you are going to work on. Okay, this is about model number 1. Now when we talk about the model number 2, so yes, it will be the same, like you will get a proper understanding about all the chapters, so you don't need to be a confused like what are the things that I need to learn, where I need to find all those things. Okay, in single dashboard you will able to navigate everything, whatever the progress that you are going to do, you are going to navigate everything in this dashboard itself. So as a learner, you will able to understand what are the things that you need to learn, what are the things kept left into the plate. Okay, and how you are going to do it. Okay, now it's all about the classroom part. Okay, so this is how when we say like in the classroom, so upcoming means basically how many classes are there. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So yeah, so in upcoming classes, so specifically all your live class schedule will be there. Okay, so on monthly basis you will able to understand, or on the weekly basis you will able to understand how many lectures are there and how you need to navigate all those things. Okay, in the classroom section you can join it using your laptop, you can join it using your PC, or you can join it using your phone as well. So this will be accessible in every device. Okay, This is about your live class. Now let's suppose after completing the class, okay, the completed means all the recordings. It's not only single. Let's suppose by any chance the learner miss any class, we don't want to make their sort of on the things properly basis. Okay, so we provide them a live recording lectures as well. Means after completing the class, if anyone wants to revise the topics or you want to revise all these things that which they have learned so far, okay, all class recordings will be there in your single dashboard itself. Simply click on that. Okay, click on the recording parts and you will able to access it. Okay, now, this about the practice part. This is very important for each and every learner. So practice, I told you right. When in the era of corporate world, more practice you will do. Okay, more chances of your getting hired for the salary package will be high. Okay, so all the projects, all the problems you will get, and these are not any random problems. Okay, these are the same coding problems asked by the different companies. Okay, in their particular in terms of the interview round, that you can say okay, there are some supplementary courses you can, it will be easy for you to navigate. Okay, then there will be some coding assessment which will be very easy for you to navigate through this particular program. Okay, then accordingly there will be a quiz assessment you are going to navigate. Okay, so everything is there in terms of what exactly is the objective, that we don't want learner to make a number of mistakes in this particular program, navigating how you are going to navigate and all these things. Okay, so in this practice part itself, everything is they have given in a proper way. Okay, you will able to navigate it in a better way. HSBC, Paytm, Airtel, okay, India Mart, SL Tech, ZingHR, okay, Seven Square. So these are the coding problems from the different companies. Now, when it comes to the final chapter here, okay, so these are some projects. Okay, so the projects is a way plays a very important part here. Okay, all sort of projects you will get in terms of the front end development, in terms of the back end development. Okay, what are the things that you need to do? Okay, when it comes to the DSA part using the Python, every challenges are there. Okay, so I told you right, more practice you will do, more efforts you are ready to put, more easy for you to crack the interview. Okay, as soon as possible. Okay, now when you talk about the career, okay, so this is how the first model that you are going to do. Okay, so specifically we are going to give you the all access. Okay, now once you complete this initial 3 to 4 models, 3 models if you complete, then you are eligible for the almics. Okay, you need to give an exam. After completing the exam, there will be a proper training and all. Okay, in your induction class you will get a proper understanding about this particular part. Okay, when we talk about the mentorship, so yeah, let's suppose if you are having any question queries and if you wanted to feel, I want to take a source of guidance from the people in terms of the resume building, in terms of the interview guidance you required, or the academic counseling required, or the project guidance you required, everything will be given. Is simply you just click on the box, you click on the next part, you can choose your slot. Okay, and it's easy. And last one is the job portal access. So this is the job portal access of Alma Better. Okay, every day we are going to update this job portal. Okay, if you feel you are having some relevant experience prior, and if you feel you are matching with the company requirement, you can simply access, you can directly apply on your own. Okay, so this is how the student dashboard portal of Alma Beta works. Okay, I hope everything got a sort of understanding. Okay, like how you can navigate everything. This is just for your understanding that I'm giving you today. Again, the navigation part. Okay, in your induction class, once the people enroll in this particular program, there will be a proper induction class of 1 hour. Okay, again the people from the operations team again is going to guide you about this particular part, what are the things that you need to learn and all these things. Okay, I hope everything is clear for you. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, so the people who are having any sort of question queries, then simply you can just ask me all your questions here. Okay, and the people who really wanted to enroll in this particular program, okay, so the link is already there. Okay, you can fill the form. Okay, or Vishaka has already, again I'm going to put it in your chat box. So this is the link. Okay, so the people who really wanted to join the particular program, okay, wanted to have a conversation with one-on-one, you simply click on the link. Okay, fill all your details. The admission team is definitely going to connect with you. And if you want me to, if you want guys anyone to connect with me personally, so I'm going to drop you my contact number, okay, in the chat box. So yeah, so you guys can connect with me directly one-on-one for the mentorship options. Everything will be there. It's just out of conversation. We can have a conversation over a call or over a Google Meet. So it will have a conversation like about this particular part. So I already dropped my numbers. So any question, any queries before we wrap up this particular session, you can just let me know. Yeah. So no question, any queries? Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Okay. If you are having any question, queries, everything is there. Okay. You can directly connect with me. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining and for this wonderful day. Everybody having a happy weekend. Okay. Thank you so much for joining and have a lovely weekend. Thank you so much. Bye bye.